Email, email, email. This is going to be technical. Welcome to the Joey's Marketing Automation Show. I'm Joey Keller, your host. In today's part, we're going to address one of the most discussed topics from the Mautic forums, email sending. In marketing automation, email is all over. It's an essential part of the automation because it's part of the campaigns. You use it in newsletters, notifications, or form confirmations. And yet, how emails work in Mautic, it's not really clear for many marketers, and also not for system administrators. Because for many, it's not clear how the emails are processed, how the queues are working, what cron jobs we need and what they do exactly, or how to troubleshoot email sending issues. We're gonna take a deep dive today, look under the hood. It will be a little bit technical, but please stay with me because it's worth it. Okay, so let's talk emailing, and this is really my favorite part about Mautic, sending emails, because you have so many options to send emails, but it also comes with a disadvantage. There are so many options to mess up your email settings, and it's actually pretty complicated how Mautic handles emails. So because there's a bunch of settings you have to watch, and there's different methods, and when it comes to cron jobs, you really have to know what does actually what in the cron jobs, which cron jobs are involved into sending emails, and we're going to cover that today. So we are going to look under the hood and see exactly how the emails are sent out in Mautic and what settings influence what. Okay, so first of all, we have two types of emails, and this dialog comes up when you start to create a new email. You can have a template email or a segment email. Now, template email does not mean that you're creating a template because templates you make somewhere else. You have to go click on the cog and then there is a template section. So there's a little bit of confusion here. Template email is an ingredient, something you would use in a campaign or in a form or somewhere else. So something what you use in another part of Mautic, not in newsletters or segments. Now the other one called segment email. Segment email is also confusing because you're sending your emails, your campaigns also to segments. So how does it come together? The naming is like that. So we just have to live with that. And there will be a couple more of these naming issues in this video. So segment email is usually called a broadcast or a newsletter send, one-time thing. You send out a bunch of emails to a segment. That's a segment email. So usually those are the one-time newsletters. Okay, so the most important thing is we can have two different settings for email processing. The one is the queue processing, the other one is immediate send. And I'm going to cover the exact differences and what cron jobs doing what in this process. Let's go first to the settings. Okay, so I go here, then I go to configuration, and then I will go to email settings. And you see I have a queue setting. That means I'm processing the emails in a queue, which means whenever an email is processed, it will be placed in the queue and a complete separate cron job will set that queue out. You can actually change this to send immediately. But I like the queue setting for various reasons. I will talk about them later, but the general idea is that queue processing will give you more control about how fast you are sending your emails, and it just generally gives you more stability, but it's a lot more settings and a lot more work as well. So cog settings, configuration, email settings. Okay, so let's talk about the queue, how queue works. How the no queue version works. So first we're gonna cover this. What happens if you don't have any queue set up? So in general, let's say you make an email. You decide to send out that email. And then what happens is that, window pops up and says, please enter the number of emails per batch to click. What is this batch? This is not all your emails, what you will send. This is a batch of emails. So just imagine that you take a bunch of emails, process it, another bunch, process it. And this is mostly because you have limited memory and limited processing time. which you don't want to run out of any of those. So that's why you need to break down your emails into batches. So you do this processing, then another information pops up here, said sending is in process. So when this progress bar goes through all the way, that's when actually your email is sent out. So if you stop the progress bar, the email will be stopped sending. As the progress bar goes ahead, the email are immediately out. That means you have to sit here and wait until the complete process is finished and all your emails are gone. So that can be annoying, especially if you're sending like thousands of emails, because you have to wait until your PHP script does the sending right here. There's no queue. Okay, so that's one way to do. If you have just a couple of emails, let's say you have 10, 20, maybe 100, 200 subscribers, you can use this version, but I always encourage you to do the queue. So what happens if you're using the queue? You, same way, click on the send. Same thing pops up. What should be the batch size? This is, by the way, also can be set in the settings, the automated batch size. So when you click on this, then what happens here is your emails will be processed during this bar, the progress bar finishes, but they will be not sent out, they will be just processed and placed into your app var spool folder. If you are on Mautic 2.16, that's app spool default. But from 3.0, Mautic 3.0, it's app var spool. So each email will be processed as a file. You will see a bunch of files in this folder, nicely lined up. Now, you have to wait until the progress bar finishes. It's a lot faster than the previous method when the actual send happened, because it's a lot faster just to save the files in comparison to make the actual send. That's why this is a lot faster processing. So we call this creating the queue. So the queue is saved in the spool folder. And then here's the thing, you need one more cron job to process this. And that's the Mautic email send cron job. It's very important. What this does is your app var spool folder will be processed and the emails will be sent out in the background. So this will go until the previous step, will go until 100. All the emails will be placed, but the actual email sending happens here. So this is why it can happen that your progress bar is full, you have 0 emails actually gone out, you have 0 open rates, and you're like, what's going on? What happened? My mail sending is not working. So if you have the spool folder full with emails, then this cron job of yours is not working. So you have to make sure that this is configured properly. You can actually run this command by hand in SSH, and you will see what happens. You can time how fast your emails are being processed. It's really, really cool. You can see it live happening. Okay, so here's the thing, and many people don't understand this about Mautic, how this works. So I would like to just explain it because it will prevent a bunch of new questions. Let's say you are sending out segment emails. You are here and here, you have 2 subscribers, and on this day, this is a timeline by the way, so on this day you decide to send out a newsletter. Your newsletter goes out, everything fine, all beautiful, you have whatever open rate, and then new people subscribe to the same segment. Let's say you have a segment people interested in, I don't know, gardening. So your gardening segment was 2 people before, you sent out the newsletter, 100% of that segment got the emails, but then since then 5 more people subscribe. What will happen? So what happens is that in this email, if it's still published, in the segment email, you will see 2 people got the email, 2 sent, but 5 are pending at this point of the time. 5 will be pending. Why? Because they didn't get the newsletter. So you can either send the newsletter one more time, simply just push send again, and only these 5 people will get it. And this comes up very often because sometimes you see statistics like this, okay, that you have whatever sent emails, whatever read emails, great, and then you have 95 pending, 75 pending, 57 pending. Why? Why are those pending? Why my email didn't work? Because those are people subscribed after you send the newsletter. They landed in the segment, so they qualify for that newsletter actually, but you're not sending it to them because you send manually by pushing the send button. And then in that very moment, the email is sent out, the queue is built, the emails are out, and then you have some kind of result. But these people, these pending ones, never even had the chance to get the email because they joined the party too late. And this comes to a lot of frustration from our clients and probably maybe from you even, that why is this working like that? Well, there is a reason. So I would like to tell you how you're supposed to use the newsletter feature in a proper way. Okay, so this is called the newsletter publishing window. And it goes this way. So you have those first two people. You send the email out. That's we're gonna call the window opening time, because these newsletters, these broadcasts should be valid for a certain time for people who joined the segment before and after until certain time, until this time actually expires. So in this case, we're gonna have these two people, membership segment members. Then we will send out the newsletter, and when these 5 people join, every time they join, they will immediately receive the newsletter. And you might have seen this before accidentally. So for example, when you have such an error that people are getting old newsletters, this is all coming back to this type of email configuration. And I will show you now exactly what I mean by that. So everything is coming back to this point here. So you have this setting which says published, an email is published, or publish at and unpublish at. So normally when I first started to use Mautic, I was like, hey, this is really cool. I can just, choose if it's published right now or I can publish it in the future. No, it doesn't work this way at all. These two publishing here has no connection to each other whatsoever. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how this works. Let me just do an example send and show it to you. I'm just gonna make an email here, just a test. I'm gonna just go with test. Okay, segment will be seed. Okay. And so this is what I'm talking about here. So you have published yes or no, unpublished that. So let's say I don't publish this at all. So when I try to send this email, I will get the error that it's not published. So you see, it's unpublished. Okay, so let's do another setting. Let's do publishing it into the future. I'm on the way all the time. Sorry about that. So let's say I want to publish it in a certain time. Yeah. So let's say I want to publish it in the future. This is for me the future. Okay. At this time, and I want to unpublish it. Let's save it again. I want to send it. Doesn't work because it's not published. I know it's not published because it's supposed to be published in the future, but that's not how it works. This is actually shouldn't be called publishing. This should called validity. And how it works is if I publish it now, save it, and send it, what's going to happen is that I start sending this in the future. Not being published, start send it then. Maybe it should be renamed. And this one here should be called stop sending at. So anyone who joins the segment will be getting this email before this and this time. So if, let's say 28th I start sending, but someone joining on 29th, they will still get the email. Okay? Okay, so let's go back to our original slides here. We can have 3 different publishing window statuses if we publish that email. The one is when it's scheduled to be sent. The other one when it's right now published and it's valid. So it's an active broadcast, which means if someone joining the segment, they will get the email. And the third one is when it's expired. That means even if people join the segment, they will be not pending. They will be not. We will not try to send them the email anymore because the email expired. It can be an offer, for example, which you just set for 1 week, and when the week expires, you can't get that email anymore. So how does it work in the background? Because when it's scheduled, there is no progress bar. So what is happening? Who is sending that email out? And for that, we need another cron job. Okay, so if the email is active, so we entered the publishing period, we're gonna need this cron job, Mautic broadcast send, to automatically in the background queue up the emails and put it in our spool folder. Remember how it was before? We had to wait for the progress bar. So this cron job takes the exact same role and queues up our emails real nice and puts them into the spool folder. And our well-known, previously already known email send command will do the sending itself. So you need them both in order to send out the emails. This is very, very important. So if you want to schedule emails ahead, you have to have both cron jobs ready. And you can actually run them in the SSH and see how they work. Okay. So let's go back to the original topic. Like I said, we have the segment and the template emails. I already covered the segment emails. So let's talk a little bit about the other type of emails as well. Welcome back. After covering the newsletter sending and segment emails, I would like to talk a little bit about the template emails as well, just to make sure that we really cover everything. So let's say you are sending out a campaign where you're using all these different emails, what you created before as template emails. In this particular case, we have one here and one we have here. These are the two emails we would like to send out. So where does the sending happen? So the sending itself, well, actually, like it depending on if you use a queue or not, but the preparation for the sending happens as a campaign trigger. So you have to have this cron job. This is the third one, by the way, what we have. And we already have to use if you would like to have Mautic running properly. So this is the cron job which manages your emails. Okay, so what happens if we use a queue? If we use a queue, then it's going to be processed like before. If not, then it's going to be processed immediately. So by using a queue, this specific trigger will also do the sending the email. And if we are not using a queue, then it will push it into the app var spool folder, but you still have to have the console Mautic email send cron command to process the emails. So if you're sending out emails, these are the two cron jobs, what you have to have for sure in order to get your emails out. Very often I see problems with that people are trying to, set just one or two cron commands. They don't understand what most of the commands do, and they forget the email sending. They switch to queue and nothing happens. The emails are not going out. Now the problem is that it looks like the email went out and no one opened it. Because Mautic at this point here, when this is successful and it lands in the spool, you will already see that it's successfully sent out, although it's still landing there. So if you have some problems and you need to troubleshoot, always check if your app bar spool is empty indeed or there are files hanging out. And if there are files still, then try to run this command by hand, and if you're getting any error, then you understand that that's the part which needs fixing, because that's the cron command which is not working. Okay, so now after watching this, you are a real Mautic email marketing pro, I guess. If you would like to learn more about emails, Mautic, or marketing automation, please come to my website. It's joeykeller.com. You can find there free videos, tutorials, email templates, and a bunch of other stuff. If you have questions regarding Mautic or emailing, you can also hit me up in the contact form on my website, or you can just come to the Mautic forum, drop a question there. I try to answer you as soon as possible. Well, see you soon, and until then, please keep automating. That was fun. I hope you enjoyed this part. Blah, 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 blah. And soon I will be coming out with the next